Hey everybody, ABC 10 meteorologist Brenden Mincheff here. We're going to have a winter storm update. We're going to talk about the rest of this weekend, and at the end, we'll squeeze in a little drought too. I know it's been a while since we talked about a drought update, a full-length video, but we'll squeeze a little drought talk in here. Looking at the precipitation calendar for this year, every day except one, that was January 12th, we've recorded at least a few drops in the bucket. So far, not counting what we've seen on January 14th, so far over 5.5 inches in downtown Sacramento. The average to date, about 1.7 inches. And that's just to date. Again, so far, this is an unofficial number, but so far we've seen already 1/4 of an inch of rain, and it is not even 10 o'clock in the morning just yet as of the recording of this video. Still, lots of rain to come. Taking a look at radar this morning, you can see where that heavy rain is, and there's more of that heavy rain to come and more thunderstorms as well for today, Saturday. Everywhere in that lighter green is that low risk, general risk for thunderstorms. Darker green, that level 1 marginal risk. So a little bit better chance for the Fresno area, but also towards Modesto as well. So in the San Joaquin Valley, mostly south of our area, but thunderstorms possible everywhere that is in a color today. The main threat will be the heavy downpours that will be associated with these thunderstorms. Some lightning as well. Those are the two main threats. Some gusty winds potentially with some of them, and then even a few of these storms could have some small hail and even a funnel cloud. So we'll keep an eye on those things as the day wears on. So be sure to stay weather aware and be with ABC 10 for the very latest as this storm makes its way through. Taking a look at Futurecast through the morning hours. As the cold front starts to push in just ahead of it, that's where some of that really heavy rain will be, and that's where some of those first thunderstorms might make an appearance. And then through the afternoon hours, you can see those dots there, the kind of spottiness there. Those are thunderstorms that do look to pop up across the valley from Yuba City to the south, basically, although everywhere in Northern California could see a thunderstorm today. If you do see a thunderstorm, you're going to get higher rainfall amounts because of how fast that rain, how heavy that rain will be that's associated with that storm. Through the rest of the evening Saturday, still potentially some thunderstorms through the evening hours, but then overnight things really do start to taper off. Some showers, very spotty, both rain and snow for early Sunday morning. Kind of continues off and on through the lunchtime hours. Snow picks up again in the afternoon, and then our next system arrives Sunday into Monday, and that's where we'll see yet again some more heavy rain. So we do have that level 1 marginal risk for parts of the San Joaquin Valley for thunderstorms today. We also have a level 1, level 2 risk, marginal and slight, for excessive rainfall. This is not associated necessarily with thunderstorms, but just with all the rain that we're seeing. So flash flooding everywhere in the shaded colors, which is all of Northern California, is something we'll be watching for today. There is a flood advisory until 10 p.m. tonight. That's 10 p.m. on Saturday night. Everywhere in green. That includes Sacramento, Stockton, out towards Fairfield, up towards Yuba City, Chico, Red Bluff, and Redding as well. So minor flooding, low-lying and poor drainage areas, some roadway ponding as well already this morning, being told that we are seeing ponding on the roadways, some standing water, especially, for instance, on US 50 on those innermost lanes. So the leftmost lanes, we are seeing some of that ponding already, and that's expected to continue really all day long today because of the rain that we're going to be seeing and the fact that everything is already wet, so there's not a lot of soaking in that's going on because, again, everything is wet, the ground is wet, really can't hold a lot more water. So it's just kind of standing there on top, very slow to drain. Flood watch from 10 a.m. Saturday until Sunday morning. So in addition to the flood advisory, still dealing with that flood watch, all of the same things we've been talking about literally since the start of the new year. Excessive runoff, urban flooding, flooding of rivers, creeks, streams, low-lying areas, ponding on the roadways, and flooding of some low water crossings. Again, same stuff that we've been talking about since the start of the new year. Looking at the model rainfall totals, they've come down a little bit, looking at between about 2 and 3 inches. There's pretty good agreement there that we're going to be even in the 1-inch range potentially with some of these storms, even as we work through towards Tuesday, Wednesday. That's because the track of the Monday storm is shifting a little bit further south, so still time for that to change. We'll still get rain on Monday, but potentially Stockton, Modesto to the south. We'll see the heavier rain as opposed to Stockton, Modesto to the north. Winter storm warning from now until Monday evening, everywhere in pink. Heavy snow, 3 to 6 feet of it, above 4,500 feet expected. 55 to 80 mile per hour wind gusts. Whiteout conditions are likely, difficult to impossible travel. So I know it's a holiday weekend, lots of people trying to get up to the Sierra. But if you don't have to travel, don't. The window of opportunity to travel was yesterday morning, Friday morning. At this point, if you're not up there already, I would recommend not going because of how difficult it is. Chain controls are active on both 50 and 80. Lots of snow. We've already seen a lot of spinouts, some whiteout conditions, and as the snow continues to fall, and the wind picks up this morning and through the afternoon. It's only really going to get worse. We're also looking at avalanche dangers, and we've seen some ski lift closures already because of the winds that we've been seeing. So if you are headed up there, just keep in mind very difficult travel impacts up there. Extreme, in fact, is what the Winter Storm Severity Index is saying. Those extreme impacts everywhere in purple for 80, 50, and everywhere in between. In terms of snowfall amounts, we did talk about that 3 to 6 foot range, and we'll see that here from the model data that follows exactly right there, 3 to 6 feet. Heaviest stuff potentially from about 4 to the south. So Bear Valley to the south, Kirkwood to the south, that's where we're looking at. But we've already seen a lot of snowfall, anywhere from 15 inches to a little bit more, in fact, as of this morning, which is a little bit above that forecast, what we were looking at yesterday before the storm. So this is going to be a big-time snow event, and it will be pretty low as well at times. For most of the weekend, that snow level is going to be between 4,500, 5,500 feet. But for Monday morning and for the first half, at least the first half of the day on Monday, that snow level really looks to drop as that next system arrives, bringing more snow and cooler temperatures to the Sierra. In fact, the snow level could get down towards about 3,500 feet or so. So again, it will be relatively low compared to some of the storms that we've seen recently in terms of snowfall. Because of that, not just because of the low snow, but because of all the snow that we're seeing in the wind, we do have an avalanche warning from now until Sunday morning, everywhere you see in red. So again, this is a big time winter storm event too. We talk a lot about valley impacts, but definitely major impacts up in the Sierra as well. Wind advisory from now until 6 p.m. on Saturday. Very dynamic system, lots of different things going on right now. Some damaging winds gusting 45 to 55 miles per hour. So bring in those loose objects. Power outages are possible if we see some downed trees, broken tree limbs, that kind of thing. Wet grounds, again, we've talked about it. Everything is soaked, so the wet grounds are going to allow those trees to tip over easily, as that water table is really literally right at those roots, right below the surface. Taking a look at the future wind gusts. If you're watching this video in the afternoon, evening, Saturday, we're likely already done with the strongest winds. But for the morning hours, you do see those wind gusts picking up 35 to 45 miles per hour. This is Saturday morning at 10 a.m. And that's because that cold front is approaching. So that's where we're going to see those strongest winds through the morning hours. It'll be breezy and a little gusty through the rest of the afternoon and into the evening as well, even in the valley. So keep that in mind. In the Sierra, it's going to last a little bit longer through the late evening in terms of those wind gusts. And then Sunday, just generally breezy in the valley and generally gusty with those winter storms that we typically see up in the Sierra. Still looking tomorrow at about 50-mile-an-hour wind gusts in the Sierra. 58 in Sacramento today, 57 in Elk Grove, 57 Stockton, 56 in Modesto, 51 Jackson, 51 in Angels Camp, 57 in Fairfield for this Saturday. Rain and thunder, we talked about that. Those thunderstorms, we actually really could see several thunderstorms in the valley. So again, keep an eye on the sky, be weather aware today. However, the light at the end of the tunnel is near. We finally can see out the other side of this rainy pattern that we've been in. Here's what it looks like right now with that high pressure system right really over top of Hawaii. And you can see the atmospheric river here represented by those arrows. So here's this system coming in today, and there's the next one that comes in on Monday, bringing that atmospheric river moisture right into Northern California. The key is this high pressure is finally going to move. You're going to see it move up as we work through this coming work week, and then by the time we get to the end of it, it builds in, and it just really parks off the coast of California. You can see California here, and there's that high pressure. This serves as a blocking high, so you see that moisture now has to ride up the high, up into British Columbia, and any systems that come in either also have to ride the ridge over top or form in the Alberta, British Columbia area, the Canadian Rockies, and drop on in. And those are typically relatively dry compared to the atmospheric river systems we've been seeing. So as long as this high pressure is sitting here, which it does look to do through at least to the end of January, as long as it's sitting there, we're going to be pretty dry. We're not going to see any of those atmospheric river storms, although some of these systems that look to drop in could bring a little bit of some shower chances and definitely snow chances to the Sierra, but generally nothing like what we've seen basically since Christmas, with that pattern just being wide open for that river. Now we're finally seeing that blocking high building back in. And confirmation of that, here's the 6 to 10-day climate outlook from the National Forecasting Center, January 19th through the 23rd. You can see very likely drier in basically all of California. So a nice little break. The question is, how long does it last? There's already some signs that we could see that blocking high pressure retreat yet again as the calendar flips over to February. So still a ways out, a few weeks away, things to keep an eye on. I promised we'd talk about some drought, so let's do it. we've seen quite a bit of improvement. This is the latest monitor. You can see that exceptional drought category is all gone. The extreme drought, very little of it left. For the most part, we're in that moderate to severe drought, the levels level 1 and 2 categories here. And you can see the only severe drought that's left is right up here on the tip of the California-Oregon border. And that is it for the rest of the state, again, in those moderate to severe drought categories. So we've made a lot of improvement on the map. Again, not very much red at all. And that exceptional drought has been gone in the San Joaquin Valley for a couple of weeks now. And that is some very good news. Just comparing it to the start of the water here, here's what it looked like, and here's what it looks like now. Again, really, really nice improvement. And we'll hopefully see this continue to get better. I would expect the next map to look a little bit better as well because of all the rain that we've seen. The data cuts off on Tuesday. We've seen a lot of rain since Tuesday. So again, that map is going to look even a little bit better this coming week, even though the rain's going to stop for a little bit. Still plenty of time left in the water year, or in our rainy season, I should definitely say as well, to help fill reservoirs and improve the drought. Shasta average today 76% capacity at 47%. Oroville average to date 95%, really starting to make some nice progress here, but the capacity still only right around that 50% range. Folsom, much shallower, a much smaller reservoir. Average to date is 122%, capacity at 73%. And that's why they're letting out some of that water, because with all the storms coming in and with the snow melt, and we can't be releasing water from Folsom while everything is already running high and it's continuing to rain. That's why we are seeing some of those releases from Folsom right now. But we've made a lot of improvement. Still a ways to go on the big ones up north, Shasta and Oroville. But again, some nice improvement. Over the next 10 days, we finally see a difference here. Only 3 rain icons, and the rest are either clouds or sunshine. So again, that is some nice improvement. We'll get a nice break here as we start to approach the tail end of January. Still midway through the month, but as we get deeper into the month and closer to February, again, things still look to stay dry, sunny for the most part. But the question is, how long does that blocking high hold? There's signs it may not be there very long. We'll be back to a rainy pattern sometime in February. But at very least, we'll have a couple of weeks here to help dry out, dig out a little bit, make some repairs, make some improvements, clean up, and that is some good news. Be sure to stay with ABC 10 for the very latest on news and weather as we finish off our rainy period.